Hello, welcome to Cover 2 TV. It's Daily News Live. Apologies, couldn't get a live shot yesterday, technical issues. But we're back, we're live once again. Not that we've had anyone watching, but you know, sometimes it's nice just to do things because you can do them. And today, we can do it live, so we will do. We've got two major stories that I want to cover. One of them is going to be Sherman discussing NFL players' contracts, and the other is Franz. And we'll get into this one first and foremost. He's come out and revealed himself openly as gay. And now this shouldn't, I don't think, be a big topic of discussion, but unfortunately, because of the world that we're in and the state of LGBT and how the clubs in the NFL talk about LGBT, it is big news. No openly gay player has ever played in the NFL, and that strikes me in 2017 as shocking, to be perfectly honest with you. But, you know, Franz is a Kansas State O-lineman, held his own actually against Myles Garrett last season. He's come out, apparently he revealed his sexual orientation to his teammates over a year ago now, and I've got a quote that he has actually said, because it seems to have made a difference in his life. And, you know, I'm all for positivity, I'm all for, you know, people who make decisions and make their life better. That's great, that's what you want to see. So his quote is, "I came out to my teammates and I've never felt so loved and accepted in my life than when I did that," and he told an ESPN reporter that. Now, the thing that I find really strange about this is that, you know, in sports in general across the world, and it's not just American sports, but LGBT just doesn't seem to be at the forefront of people's minds. And it's, again, it strikes me as quite shocking that that's the case. I mean, I know Wade Davis, former NFL player, has come out after he retired, and he's working with the NFL on things. And, you know, over the last sort of few months, I think some of the other leagues in America have made strides forward as well. The NFL has made strides forward. Wade Davis himself says that the NFL is doing more now than it used to be, but it's the phrasing of things as well sometimes, isn't it? I mean, I know lots of clubs are talking about like Pride Day or Pride Night and all that type of stuff, but that's not really as on the nose as it could be. I know the LA Dodgers, obviously it's not NFL, but the LA Dodgers have actually called their night LGBT Night, which is on the nose, which tells you what that is. And I think that more clubs, and you know, especially when these guys, youngsters and young kids and young adults, look up to these players, and to see these guys setting an example is obviously better for everybody. That's my opinion on it anyway. Okay, let me know your thoughts in the comments section, of course. But now we're going to move on to Sherman news. Now, he is, well, he's outspoken, isn't he? I think we all know that. He's now urging players that, you know, if you want to get bigger deals like the NBA stars, then you're going to need to strike, and you're going to be willing to strike. Look, we know in the first 24 hours of free agency in the NBA, £1 billion worth of contracts was essentially given out in 24 hours of free agency, and it's nothing like that in the NFL. And there are a few reasons, and look, I'm sure a lot of you guys know some of the reasons, but we'll cover a couple of them later on. But what Sherman's actually said is, you're going to have to miss games. You're going to have to lose some money if you're willing to make the point. That's how MLB and NBA players got it done. They missed games, they struck, they flexed every bit of power they had, and it was awesome. It worked. And look, I think Sherman is right. Obviously, the collective bargaining agreements work slightly differently in the NFL to the NBA. I think a few of the reasons, look, even if you just think about how many players there are and how much each of these leagues earn. Now, I know that the revenues for the NBA are reported to be around about $6 billion per annum. Now, players are allocated around about 50% of that, so you're looking at about $3 billion for players' contracts in the NBA. Take that to the NFL, their revenues are supposed to be around about the $12 billion mark, so double the revenues. Again, it's still roughly a 50% split though, so you're talking about £6 billion being allocated for contracts. Now, you might say to me straight away, that's double the amount that the NBA players are getting, but what it comes down to is, to fill NFL roster spots, there's 53 players, isn't there, and you've got 32 teams. There are roughly 4 times as many NFL players as there are NBA players, so 4 times as many players with double the pot of money. It doesn't quite split in the same way, does it? Also, you've got to think about the NBA salary cap. It is structured slightly differently. You know, it means that even top players toward the end of their careers can't earn as much as some of the other players. LeBron, for example, earns around around about 27 million a year. Maybe it's 35, I can't remember. He would probably be on about 50 to 60 million if he was only 5 years in the league and playing at this level. The fact is, because he's a little bit older, he isn't able to earn as much money. So what he's doing is he's tending to get like 2-year deals, and then he'll wait for the salary cap to increase. And I think that's what some NFL players need to start thinking about. Excuse me. So that's one of the reasons. It does also mean that there is essentially, like, let's say there's 25 million there from what LeBron should be earning to what he actually is earning. That money needs to be spent, so it tends to pad out the middle classes, if you will, of the NBA stars. That doesn't happen in the NFL. The top players get the top money, and it's filtered down. It's a little bit differently. Some players that you've never really heard of in the NBA seem to get a lot of money. So there's a couple of reasons. Again, you know, how long you're in the league seems to matter in these things. So NFL players, I believe it's around 3.2 to 4 years on average, if you take all the players into account, that people will be in the league for. NBA is sort of more like 4.85 years a career. So that makes a difference as well. So there's a few of the reasons. If you are interested, of course, look into it, read into it. I urge anybody who wants to know more on this not to just read the headlines of Richard Sherman saying this and saying that, because those things will have an effect, but there are reasons behind why the players are paid differently. Let me know your thoughts on both of those subjects, of course, in the comments section below. We've got a discussion show coming up next week, of course. We'll be back this week and hopefully with some fantasy football action, so that should be good. Don't forget to like the video, of course, and subscribe to the YouTube channel Cover 2 TV if you haven't already. If anyone's watching, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next week.